Yes, I want to be
Nigerians.
now because even people in social on the comment
You
section
You
are
guys
guys,
saying
are
that
not
and
sick for
tell
this.
you will not see it because you are not a Nigerian, and I
Yes,
never
big
saw
Ola.
it. I never knew Mohbad when he
Yes,
was
you
big
can
alive.
Ola.
you,
So
now you
you
can
as a
understand
Nigerian who's supposed to
why
stand
people
for
like
your
If Southside
brother,
Sazo
can allow
what
are
her
did
to
you
in.
speak,
do?
then
If you
we'll be
want to
fine.
blame
No,
me,
no, you can
She
let her
won't
just
let
if you
us.
do the
want to
wrong thing.
blame me, what did I do? So what
Now
did
you
you
can
do
understand
as
why
you
people like
as a brother
Sazo are in
as
for
a
the
Nigerian?
justice.
No,
So
it's not
it's not really
justice.
Mr.
about.
Man, stop
It's not really
She's
sentimental
a.
things.
I
probably
know,
People
I
going
are
know.
through
Sazo.
a
I'm
mental
asking you
meltdown.
now, if you
Maybe
want
it's
to
a
Of
mental
blame
course,
me,
breakdown.
if you want to
Because she
of
blame
won't
me
let
course,
people
in
of course,
saying
speak.
that,
She
what
won't
did
let
course.
I
people speak.
do as a foreigner? I'm asking you as a brother of Mohbad in Nigeria,
Will
what
you
did
now
you
let us
do for him
listen?
when he was
Will you not
alive?
listen? Will you not listen to let people talk? If you want to hear, you ask a question. You should be calm enough to hear the answers. So
Okay, I'm
it's
listening to you.
it's unfortunate that that's the reason why you see people get triggered by what people like you says. Because sometimes
But,
you
but,
get like
but,
we get
but, but Big Ola. One
yeah.
thing that I found interesting, now that she wants to poke, she said, why did you Nigerians not protest? So that's why I'm asking, is that tribalistic or is he racist?
He
No,
asked me
it's
the question.
sensation.
He said,
It's sensation.
what did I do? You know, Mr. IT guy, you did not get it. He asked me, when
Okay.
Mohbad was alive, when he was bullied, what did I do? I said, I never knew Mohbad when he was alive. And people are
But
saying in the comment section,
when you then
Sazo,
found
wait,
out
Mr. IT guy, wait, let
when
me
you found the
finish. Wait
video, what
now.
did you do?
Wait,
When you
Mr.
saw the video,
You,
what did you do?
Mr. IT, wait,
No, no,
wait, wait.
she's not bothered about the video
People in
because
the comment
she
section
stated
said,
and she
Mr.
was
IT
busy
guy,
saying it
wait.
was after he died.
Big holler, wait now. People in the comment section said, what did I will not see it because I'm not a Nigerian. So that's why I said, you as a Nigerian now, you saw everything. What did you do? Instead, some of you on social media, we are bullying Mohbad that time, saying that Mohbad smoke. He don't take Igbo. That's what you were saying
Oh,
to
you
him.
saw? Oh, sorry. You saw
That's
all
why
those ones,
some of
right?
you
Wait.
that
Sorry.
were saying to
You
him
saw?
on
Wait,
Instagram,
Sazo. You just
bloggers
confirmed. You saw
were
all those
blogging
ones,
him,
right?
bullying him.
Sazo,
They
you
were
But
just
bullying him.
confirmed. You
Can
just
I
confirmed.
ask
You
you
saw
a
all those
quick
ones.
question? Salzot,
So
can I
don't
ask you a
blame
quick
me.
question?
I'm not a
No,
Nigerian.
can
I
I
never know
ask
him when
you?
he
I
was
want to
alive.
ask you a quick question. This is yes or no.
Suddenly, Sazo saw Sadulu's okay.
Well, yeah, let me ask. So, Salzot, right? Do you believe that Mohbad smokes Igbo regularly? Yes or no?
I don't think so. I don't believe that. He don't drink. He don't
Okay.
smoke it regularly. I know him as an artist. Yes, they do smoke, but I know that at some
So they do
point he
smoke.
changed.
Okay.
He stopped smoking at some point before prior to his buy.
So is it possible
Sometimes
that she
he
changed
stopped
from
smoking.
smoking Igbo from taking colos?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Exactly. So what you don't know, you don't know. That is where we are. What you don't know,
So
you don't know.
even if he was doing is that what they should be using to be bullying him? After coming out and me complaining that this is
They
what
did
I'm
not
going
use
through.
Igbo to
Before
bully
you
him now.
they
They did not
bully
use
Still
him
Igbo
wonder
to
that
where
bully
you
they
get
him.
your
said
information
because he
from,
Madam.
was in
Sazo. I
They
Aramani's
still
didn't
house.
use
wonder where
drugs to
you get
Everybody
your
bully
in
him
information
Aramani
now.
from.
smokes. So
Because
whenever
till
Mohbad comes
today,
out to
till
speak,
today,
people will say, I don't
the only
smoke
person
again.
that done
You
good
guys
press
did
for
it to
Mohbad
him.
is a
You guys
wife, is a
did it to
widow.
him.
Is the
You
widow.
guys did
So
it to
if
him. Stop denying.
okay,
You
you
know,
are saying
You guys did it to
you
him.
just write it.
Salzot, yeah,
You guys did it to him.
no, hold on, relax a bit, just relax a bit. Maybe we can just have a bit of decorum, yeah. Let's have a bit of decorum.
Two
So
of you cannot be
performance,
on her. Two of you cannot be on her. One person, one after the other.
waiting be this woman, Adura Mitigba. Can you sort
Mitigba.
out
Mighty, I
your
came to
audio?
answer
We
that
can't hear
question
you.
with
Sort out your
evidence.
audio. I'm speaking with Salzot for now. Let me just have this with Salzot, right? So it is just known in the industry, whether you are Black, Caucasian, Hispanic, or you are an actor, you are anything. So what you call recreational drugs is an enhancement for you to get what you need to perform sometimes. We see Davido, we see Burna Boy, we see Wheezy, and you just see them. They don't hide it, and they just quickly have a few puff. Even sometimes when they are performing and the injection is not really there, the video you will see him with that red cup, he's got brandy in it or something, and then he will go to the side stage, they will give him his puff, he will puff it, and he will carry on performing. That is life. We don't hide it. We don't hide it in the entertainment industry. We shouldn't use that as an excuse to want to create imbalance in our arguments. So let's leave the colors, let's leave
look
the
at Snoop
ego,
Dogg.
and let's
Look at
leave
Snoop Dogg.
exactly. Snoop Dogg, if you invite Snoop Dogg to a studio in America live, you will still allow him to blaze, John Blaze, and he will blaze open live. It's part of his contract. If he cannot blaze, because he's got his own farm, he's selling his own little cushy stuff from marijuana, but you need to allow him to roll his joint and just enjoy the joint. It's part of the game.
You can
So let's
say
not
that to
look at it.
Nigerians because I
No.
did not say so.
Relax.
You can
Let
say
me
that to
speak now. Why do you
Nigerians
keep
who were
interjecting
using it
now?
to bully
Báwo la ti
him.
fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ tó bá interject
They were using
now?
it to bully
So
him.
need láti gba ìwòsàn ni? Ṣé ìyá yìí need láti gba ìwòsàn ni? Ẹ fún ní injection kó dákẹ́ now. Let people speak now.
Whatever.
IT.
Whatever.
I just want to
Whatever. I don't care.
Don't forget the
We
fact.
never enter here by
The
left.
fact that Mohbad
You-
said,
You don't know.
"Tó bá
For
pa mí tán,
Mohbad,
is that what
make
you want
her
to
cry.
be posting
You people,
after you
if you
buy
don't
me?"
cry me,
All
but I'm
the
gonna allow
evidence,
you.
everything Sam Larry
Please.
came after
Please,
Mohbad
one at a
buying.
time. One at a time. Sele, go ahead and speak, please.
Okay, just 1 minute. Don't forget the fact that Mohbad in his only voice note evidence said, "Tó bá pa mí, is that what you want to post after you buy me? Where is my iCloud? Where is my WhatsApp? This and that." And all the evidences Sam Larry is, only his petition was online and it was just in a newspaper. Every other evidences, the 5 seconds, the 3 seconds, the this and that came after. And most of these evidences were in distraction from us not looking towards that house. There was no evidence to say it was that house. They threw those evidence out to say it was Sam Larry and Naira Marley, and that was the distraction. What about the DNA? DNA could have come anytime. For Mohbad himself to be saying that you are pretending that you are in the hospital, this and that, with Baba Mohbad also coming out to say whatever he said. Also with the fact that Wunmi herself under oath said that it was because of placenta that made Baba to turn to an enemy. If I was the grandfather, I will also make sure that the paternity of my grandson, for future purpose, Koro Mabagbe in the future. You understand? So yeah. It's not late. It came at the right time.
Yeah, Saleh, thank you for that, brilliant, submission. But in this whole scenario, in the present scenario as regards the DNA, I'm not sure they said video is against doing the DNA, except, I stand to be corrected. So far, I think the delay is not from a camp. It should be from the father, according to all the legal issues he had with the past and the present, lawyer. So if that is not our fault, so why are we not putting it or painting it like, she's running away from the DNA?
Oh, Big Ola. Can you hear me? Big Ola, can you hear me? Yes. You see, the best way Wunmi could have defended herself and her territory in this case was when Mohbad buying, immediately if a DNA was done, 5-month hold, especially when she was going to mention the child, tell the whole world, people who are older than you, the whole world is 25 years older than you. And you are telling us that your 5 months you had to cook jollof rice when the nurse that injected your son that caused goose bump according to you, that made him to lost his life, she was not arrested, and you did not make sure that that story is allowed by, then you came out to say they released a lot of things, but in between there was an agreement, and I believe it is possible that the same people that are giving Joseph Aloba friendly slap, started giving him that friendly slap from that day that the man saw that body. You understand? Yeah, so it could have affected a lot of things. Spending 3 hours in the hospital, you understand, in the police station, 3 hours. So I want to know what happened in those 3 hours. So many things
Yes.
have influenced. If she has done the DNA, if she had hold herself with the DNA results, autopsy and toxicology, that is not saying anything have to do with her. I don't see any evidence to defend oneself.
Obviously,
You
you know, she
understand?
wouldn't have.
Then for
Obviously,
you
yeah, I
to now
get you.
come
I
out
get
to
you.
say
You know, she wouldn't have
that
done the DNA
child,
on her
wait,
own.
my brother, wait.
Okay.
Then to now come out to say ikú tó yẹ kó pa your own child ló pa ọkọ ẹ, ọmọ ẹlòmíì. You understand? Those things are red
Sele,
flag.
Sele, I'm glad you're a Yoruba person. You know, in the course of all these things, Baba Mohbad also said something similar like that. He said, Tomo Eniraku, I think it was in the course of, you know, the burial. So that as the father is not supposed to witness the burial of his son. So instead, the son should have been the one witnessing his own burial. I think he said something similar to such, you know, thing. So if in the place of that same expression, the widow said, instead of the son to die, and Mohbad will now mourn a son. Mohbad accidentally or directly, I don't quote my word, there won't be like, you know, that's what she said. So the late, you know, artist died instead of their child to buy. So you understand? So that is still more or less an expression. And when we talk about she ought to have said so thing, she ought to have said so thing. In real life documentation or documentary, there are times they'll put humor, they'll put trailer, they'll put all sorts of things. It's not like, you know, that's the whole, you know, life story of that person. But they understood that, you know, at one point there are meant to be some good times and the bad time. So in connecting this to whatever she must have said or had said at the beginning. I heard someone said I'm working for me. I'm not working for anybody. I'm just like a free thinker like you.
What
Yeah.
you are saying, I concur with it. But I'm saying to you, to have saved herself from this normal thing, for anybody to be talking about widow victimization, it will not have started with Wunmi. You understand? If there is no reaction, if there's no action, there won't be reaction. If she had defended herself with private autopsy, you understand?
If you have, sorry, Sele, sorry. See, look at it from this angle. Look at it from this angle. Look. No, I understand what you're trying to say. I understand what you're
to say. Our father-in-law, you this.
Look at it. Look at it from this angle. Look at it from this angle. When.
Please let Sele finish what he's saying before you interject so we can actually understand what's being said. Then you can interject.
I hope you understand me, Bigola.
No. You know, place the facts side by side. Yeah.
She would have defended herself. In the case of homicide, nobody knows who did it. You understand? Even the eyewitness say I dey pain am, he dey cook jollof rice, 5-month-old. Fine. You can defend yourself with anything. But there are some evidences beyond reasonable doubt. Autopsy would have told the whole world that, oh, this was this. It is the nurse, not you went to the hospital 2:30. One is saying that he came at 11:30. Darosha is saying this. It's all clear. There is a defense. And when you talk about DNA, you see some agents come out with power to fight you. DNA should not be an issue now. And I'm saying, Igola, a negative DNA result in this case of Mohbad will change the decision of that DPP that
Yeah, yeah,
seems unchangeable.
yeah. Can I comment? Can I comment now? Let's first of all look at it theoretically now. At what point, or at what stage, or at what time would she have done a DNA? Is it when the late Mo died, or when she was being accused? And would she be admissible if she had done a DNA on her own without involving the father? That's the accuser now in this question now. So if you're not being accused initially of carrying another person's child to another, would there be any need for you to carry out a DNA? Which is absolutely no. So for her to even consider doing a DNA to come as a result of an accuser. So now that the accuser has stepped forward and requested for a DNA, I think that's been discussed already, and so far so good. Now it is still the accuser that is stalling the same DNA that's been requested. So now let me take you back. That is why I want to believe, like, we all started following this whole thing initially. Because when Mo died, and thank God, graciously, till date, we're yet to actually have any concrete evidence that this is what by this guy. So that being said, the widow in question came out after the pie of her husband, that her husband was assaulted till the end of his time. So if by going by that narrative, that's, to me, I don't know about other people, I don't know how they see it or how they think about it. If going about what she said initially, so I feel like, okay, it's normal. You could have emotional damage, you could have this, you could have that as a result of severe or several assaults, which the father in question concurred to at one point. It was just limit or timid to mention names or to address the issue directly, until when table turns, then he begin to, like, talk about, okay, somebody buy a son, it is the concubine that buy the son. In all of what he said, he never for once mentioned the wife buy a son. So suddenly, you know it's beginning to, like, sound very funny when, without no even any concrete evidence stated or provided, then we all assume, because that's one of the reasons why people will probably follow up from day one. Because I sometimes wonder where some people are getting their fact from, if you actually follow this whole thing from initial stage. So then I'm beginning to wonder, like, okay, if at the initial stage the father was mute, he was in accordance with what this wife, with the widow, said, then they were having this narrative. Then suddenly the father switched, and when he switched, we noticed that there were several some group of people who decided to begin to fund his lifestyle, fund this, fund that. Then you now want a widow who probably had no public support, so as to say to come out and start defending himself against is a whole lot of people. If you observe closely, it took her a very long time before she suddenly began to grant interview.
Big Ola,
Did you say?
we are forgetting
Yeah.
the fact that as at September 12 or 13, that the whole world started seeing the drama from this family. After that time, Wumi herself, through her spokesperson, Shepeteri, said they have done DNA and the results will be posted. So. They had a lot of, they were talking about that DNA. You understand?
When
They were
when the,
giving
when she
us
was accused, right? That was when she was
no,
accused. I
no,
think
no,
so. That was
no,
when she was
no,
accused.
no.
You
There
can't
was no
publicly
talk.
come outside.
No, no,
Let's
no,
make it sense.
no.
Let's make
There
it
was
make
no,
sense.
there
Let's make it
was
sense.
not too
How can
much
you suddenly?
activity.
No, no,
There
wait,
was not too much
wait. I'm
activity
trying to,
about
like,
DNA.
sorry, wait. I'm trying to, like, get it right now. Like, suddenly I wasn't asked of a DNA. I wasn't asked of a death certificate. Then I come on, on a public space, and I decided to say, okay, this is the DNA to my child. This is the death certificate of my husband. Then people in their right senses will actually think, then what's the motive if you've not actually did something wrong? So we saying she did a private DNA without being accused of bringing in a basket. Let me use the word basket, it sounded very, very funny.
Well, what I came up to talk about was that the fact that you said the evidences of Mohbad being bullied was released immediately. The only one time we saw Mohbad coming out on live was when he had a fight in the Malian house. We already talked about it. Mohbad was the one that was manipulated to go into to change his manager because they had some normal man to man, and he was just saying yes. So it was different from the fact that Mali was beating him. The Malians, those guys were Malians at that time, but the whole world saw it. Then after that
Are
time,
we? Sorry.
the
Before
ones
you go
we
forward,
saw.
sorry. Before you go forward, are we quoting? Are we quoting the evidences or the voice note or the video? Evidences Mohbad left behind. If you're talking about that, then that is more or less admissible in court too, because those are his words. So
No,
irrespective whether sorry, hold on. Irrespective whether it's a disagreement, we can as well say all the voice notes he released about Wunmi is also a petty disagreement between two lovers. So if you can come out to this, you understand? If you can come out to say
Wumi
all
did not
those
call it.
things he said,
He did not call it disagreement.
No,
He said he was
Mobile
on
said it. No,
Polos. He
no, no,
had
no.
been reacting, and she
I'm
had
referring to
to
that.
record
Even
him.
Malian, even Naira said the same thing, that he was high on shit on stuff. Sorry, he was high on stuff. That was why each time he pick up his phone and he
We
records.
all know the news
So
was. Understand how the music industry is not the first
it's a gang. Yeah,
for us
it's
to
always
see.
like a gang. It's like a gang
Exactly.
thing. So it's understandable. But I'm saying there were video evidences even right before the guy by. Nobody like stood up. The energy wasn't so big. Even people who were outside the shore of this country saw the video. Thank God, blogs were all over the place then. It wasn't like the blog just started functioning right now. So many people saw it. Even some people that are the far front of this so-called justice stylishly we just look at it and move away. Just like the typical bloggers will tell you, àwọn oní theater, àwọn oní theater. So they tend to actually shy away from those kind of things. It's not as if they don't see it. They shy away from it. But now that it's beginning to seem like a platform, a revenue generating topic for so many people, that is why you see some people quoting this section of this, that section of that one. Even those who never step foot into the country for the past 10 years, we on their ring light, tell you things as if they are quoting directly as a witness. So you as a person, when you probably privileged to some certain, information directly, not like, yes and no, then you begin to wonder, like, is it something I'm not getting right, or is it something that I'm missing out of this whole context? So
Okay,
it's a high stuff for so many people. Yeah.
sure, big Ola. So that voice note with Mohbad and Wumi having the altercations, Mohbad saying, "If you buy me," accusing her directly, cursing and doing all those things. Do you think it is fake? And don't you think it is the holy evidence of anything between Mohbad
When
and
the
Wumi?
moment, sorry, I never said that's a fake
So let me
audio.
add. Let me add. Do you think
Okay.
it came out at the right time, or it was too early in the case? Just like you said, DNA is too early in this case.
Oh, no, don't misquote me. Probably you will listen to someone else. I am not the fan of whether DNA happens now or happens later. At the end of the day, they are going to have DNA. So it takes an accuser to start a request. So once that is done, I'm sure the accusee or they are accused will eventually, come forth. So irrespective of whenever they decide to go about it, it's always welcome. After all, the said person, the accused is not running away or denied coming for the test. So that being said, if you're now beginning to say, okay, the voice you said, the one you mentioned is fake, that's not fake. That's more like in a one-on-one argument or disagreement between couples, which could actually, go to any length. Just like a mother who is having a bro with a daughter or with a son, that ọmọ àlè ni ò ní kúre, and the rest of all of that. Does it make the child a bastard? No, I'm asking a question. Does it make the child a bastard?
No, no,
Of course,
no.
of course not. So
Even if you act
no,
strange, people
I'm
can say you
stating
are
some
this,
certain
you are
things. So
that.
yeah, so indirectly, in the course of any argument, we have people who stated the otherwise, just because they have this conversation. But uh, for every expression comes as a result of an action. So I can understand, like, the depth or the level of the disagreement they are having before it to lead or get to that point. But I'm saying, like, if we now begin to go about using voice notes as evidences, then we can as well admit all other voice notes and video evidences that I have stated. But my own concern, that's why I've been saying it, all along, like, is it now a selective justice? is is
Big
assault not
caller,
part of,
big
listen,
caller,
is assault,
big
is
caller.
assault,
The corona.
is it not part of ground for justice?
I'm going back to the corona now, and I'm not trying to give them more than they can do. I don't think the corona is the one that is in charge of bullying and assault.
DNA.
You understand?
No.
Or
That's because
even DNA. The corona.
sorry,
The
even the
corona
corona
should
itself is
establish what
it's just
Mohbad
to, no,
only.
corona is just to get facts. It's just to get facts. Except if I want
What
to be
the
quoted wrong.
Mohbad?
The corona
Let's
is
not
just
do
to
this.
gather facts. Yeah. So because you
About what
mentioned the
buying
corona, so
Mohbad. Facts about what buying
yes.
Mohbad, not about his
Of
assault, about his
No. If
DNA or anything.
if DNA could be a factor in what buy Mohbad, that's like you're looking for a motive for whoever that wanted to buy him, right?
Is it wrong?
No. Of course it's right. If that is the motive, that's the decision. No. So if you at the same time is not saying whoever that assaulted him does not have any motive to buy him, then I'm beginning to see double
Not,
standard.
I've never said
That's
that.
why you
But
said the corona is just looking
placing,
for facts.
yes,
It's just
but
looking for
placing the
facts to buy
people,
him. But
yeah, placing the
but
people that are
whoever,
next to him
yeah.
24 hours before
Mm-hmm.
his death, I think that is the most sensible thing to do, to circle around,
But
because
but
you cannot arrest the
I've
whole
heard,
city.
I've heard on this same platform, or probably some other platform, that it was being poisoned gradually. So indirectly, if he has been visiting one particular place and the person never visited his house, and he's been consuming that same substance for, like, several weeks, and eventually you buy. So is the person that gave you that substance at his particular house? Of course, no. So eventually, if you say the
Because
motive of the coroner is to gather information, are you just going to sit back if you consider DNA?
But
Certainly not. So
big daddy,
you need to spread, yeah.
what we are saying is that people around him to give information. Nobody is
Yes.
saying that they buy him. Even
No,
if
no.
Mohbad,
The
oh
wife,
wait, listen,
the wife is there.
wait
Okay.
now, let me talk. Even if he was poisoned, but you around him that last moment, you must have seen the symptoms, some things happening to him before he died. So that is the only thing people was calling them.
And
People
in the
was
course of
calling
doing that, sorry,
Womi.
In the course
Wait
in the
now,
course
let
of
me
doing that,
finish. People
would I
was
now beginning to
calling
point?
Womi. People was calling Wumi, people was calling Adura, all the people around the house, inside the house, within 42 hours to 24 hours around Mohbad, to give information. That's what people were doing. But when they
Okay.
called and they did not get information, they became angry. So after making people angry, their reaction, even I just doubt that now you guys are saying that the anger from the public is not justifiable. But you justify that.
Sorry.
Listen now,
Sazo.
let me
Okay.
finish. Let me
Okay.
finish. But I had people before justifying that because Mohbad was trying to tell Prime Boy to get out from his car and he refused. So hit him Prime Boy was justifiable because he make Mohbad to be angry. So if you make someone get angry, and after that any reaction from that person, you will be blaming the person, then, and thank God we did not kpai anybody. Calling Womi's name did not kpai her, thank God. Bullying the baby did not kpai the baby, thank God. So what is the big deal here? What is
Yes,
the
can I
big deal
respond to
more
you?
than the body of Mohbad? Yes, what is
Okay,
the
can I?
big deal more than the
When you done,
body
let me
of
respond.
Mohbad?
Just say you are
Still,
done. Just don't. Just say
yes.
you're done.
Okay.
Okay, now
What is the big deal?
I need.
Wait, I'm not done.
Sorry, hold
I'm
on.
not done. You
Okay,
say if I'm done, I should say I'm done.
okay, okay,
What is
okay.
the big deal than the body of Mohbad laid in the morgue over 2 years without knowing the cost of death, while he have people around him, while he have loved ones around him, while he have people that he was taking care of around him? What is more important than, in fact, for me, as far as I know, the biggest voice for Mohbad is coming from the public, has always coming from the public. Any penny they have spent in Mohbad's death is coming from the public. Let Wunmi show me her account where she have ever used any penny from her own account, even Baba Mohbad, to say that this is my money I spent in my own son's kpai, or this is my money, my own hard money I spent in my husband's kpai. It's all coming from this same public, and you want to sit here and blame the public? No, I will not accept that. I can't. I'm done, big daddy.
Well, I'm glad you make. Sorry. Hold on. Let me respond. I'm glad you made some certain, submission, which in the eyes of the law are not true. You said people were asking her question. They kept looking for her to say something as against what was said against her. You said she was nowhere to be found to respond to certain things. In the recent sense of it, when such issue happens, what happened? The law enforcement, take charge. They invited people around the house, at least inside the house. Let me use that word. Based on what you said now, not just her, and several other people were invited by the police for statement, which she did. But I think the only problem you are having is because you expected her to come to the public and make some certain statement, which would not go down to your own, assumption. You understand? So, in the real sense of it, she was there to answer certain questions given to her by the police, and she answered them correctly according to her understanding, which I believe. And that was why she wasn't detained or arrested. If she were invited and she didn't show up, as against so many petitions that we heard, like, she has been petitioned, she's going to be arrested tomorrow, she'll be arrested next week, or this and that. By now, I'm sure she will probably will be in police custody, languishing in one cell. But that's not true. Till date, there was no way whereby she was arrested or detained, because the only thing the police do was to invite all those people present in the same house that you mentioned, and they've done that. So if the police didn't see any reason to detain her, and since it's an investigation, she kept her mute, and you wanted her to come to the public because you feel you deserve so thing, which
Yes, how
still,
many days was
listen,
that?
let me
How many
finish now. Let
days
me finish.
after
It doesn't.
Mohbad's death?
Let me finish
Then
now.
you can
Are
still
you the
answer
police
my
officer
question
investigating?
as you are
Sorry, are
making
you the
for
one
submission.
investigating? Sorry, let me finish. Let me finish. Are you the one? You're not the one investigating this case. So it's the police, and they've invited people in the house for questioning, which is still boiled down. It's still boiled down to part of the investigation. So that being said, I understand the fact that the public donated money for some certain investigation as they deem it fit, which I understand. And the bulk of the money, just like you said, according to your word, goes to Baba. And if you and I and every right thinking person want to sit down and make a
Only
good
to Baba,
analysis,
not only to
listen now,
Baba, not only to
did you
Baba.
donate
Even
to,
she
no, I'm
also
saying,
receive.
did you donate to her? I understand if you donated to anybody, that's understandable. That's not
I
my,
say public.
business.
I'm saying
Yes,
public.
I'm referring to the same
Public.
public. Listen now, listen, I'm referring to the same
Uh-huh.
public. So if you and I want to sit down, analyze, this case properly, what is the function of the DPP and what is the function of Baba's lawyer? Because in the real sense of it, the BPP should actually be the one prosecuting this case. Baba would only sit or align with the DPP for a proper investigation or for direct or a true, investigation. But whereby your so-called public, like you said, decided to get a lawyer for Baba doing a separate case, which at the end of the day will still not be validly accepted by the DPP, because the DPP, the police on their own fact, report directly to the DPP. So now that is one of the reasons why you see several donations given to police behind door. That is why you are seeing several phones being bought, given to police behind door to carry out a particular task, which I understand it could be like in the form of fast tracking. Nobody is against that. But at the end of the day, the real sense of prosecution goes through the DPP. So if by now you still have a lawyer who you feel is representing or prosecuting this case in court, you are just wasting your time, because at the end of the day, the only valid channel or platform that can prosecute such case, it is the DPP. So it is high time the Baba and the donors understand that they need to align directly with the DPP. Let them use all those funds to support the DPP in carrying out their investigation. If truly he wanted justice, but in the absence of seeking for justice, or probably just want or enjoys the sensation, nobody will have any issue with that. They can
But
continue
Big
to tomorrow.
Daddy,
And wait,
Big
sorry,
Daddy.
hold on.
Okay.
And again, sorry, hold on, sorry. And again, now do we have to blame the widow again for the continuous remainder of the husband in the morgue, whereby it was the father, truly was the father